This morning's show is full of champions, and I'll introduce you to my gorgeous little one right here in a moment. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show Thursday, November the 6th. Now, I hope you're feeling good this morning, because I tell you, I'm feeling about 1,000% on this time yesterday. I think I was probably just getting a little smug that I'd gotten through the 6th season unscathed, and then some real bad bug came and bit me. So I'm truly happy to be standing upright this morning, and that tried true expression, appreciate your health. But thanks to Jamie and Joe for doing such a great job at late notice. Well, on this morning's program, you will meet remarkable people who've achieved great things. For starters, there's the best-selling author Michael Connelly, who's created some of the most popular detective characters in contemporary fiction, and also an Aussie who's become the world champion in some of the most demanding circumstances and in the sport of surfing, legend Mark Occhilupo, who's had a fairly unusual path to glory. And of course, the musical talents of the remarkable Katie Noonan, and a short visit to the Food and Wine Fair in Brizzy. And I hear there's an international guest. You're gonna love him. And how about this gorgeous baby? This is Jazz, a perfectly formed little miniature horse. Dr. Ark is going to show us more, and of course over there is Lucy, his girlfriend. So so much coming up this morning. Stay with us. We've got great music first though. Yes, darling. Welcome back to Mornings. We always have some of the most glorious creatures, great and small. Dr. Ark is this morning going to introduce us. This is Jazz. Good morning, Dr. Ark.
Good morning,
Kerri-Anne.
Excellent. Now, we thought because it's Oaks Day today and it's been the Melbourne Cup, very interestingly, that a lot of horses, the thoroughbred horses, travel with companions to the racetrack. And they can travel with chickens and their best mates. So they travel to the racetrack, they don't get scared. They can travel with goats. In fact, you know that phrase, to get someone's goat?
Yeah.
The goats keep the horse calm. You steal the goat, the horse is actually
antsy.
So to get someone's goat. Now, and miniature horses.
Wow.
Okay, now these are true miniatures.
I know. I was just looking before. They are so perfectly formed. This is not a Shetland, not a little pony. This is, you are
a
very
miniature
beautiful.
horse.
You know it.
Now, in fact, this is a small horse. We'll talk about size in a second. They actually started back in with King Louis XIV in the 16th century out at Versailles in France. He had this zoo of odd sort of creatures, and he organised to miniaturise the horse, okay? Now, as they've done that, you've got to be a bit careful because, like the Chihuahuas we did a few weeks ago, sometimes they retain a little bit of their normal size, like you can get mouth problems and kneecap problems, but they're just a beautiful animal. Do you know their temperament's described as cheeky, which interprets as, I've got to train you, okay? Because they'll run you. Now, remember
their temperament compared to a Shetland, which I think a lot of people would agree, a Shetland has an edgy temperament.
That's right, but remember, horses tend to be a little bit more, well, let's say, go the other way, the ponies are a bit more bomb-proof, okay? But the miniature horses, you can train them beautifully. Now, difference between a horse and a pony, the miniature horse actually has their ears on the top of their head. Okay, whereas the pony, they're a little bit more... I know, you're looking at me going, where else do you have ears?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They're more on the side of the head. And you can see how fine this horse is as well, okay? Of course, the ponies are a lot stockier, their bones are a lot denser, they've got these guys have a very fine tummy, whereas you said about the Shetland pony, of course, the ponies and miniature ponies are quite barrely.
Yes.
The big thing, and you're on my foot...
The horsey equivalent of the big bum.
You can say that, I can't say that. They measure them at different spots to find out, are they actually true miniature? And in these guys, they actually measure them from the last bit of mane hair. Kerri-Anne, control your horse.
Yes, I am.
All right. You'll be taken out of the enclosure, you know that, don't you? We'll show you on this little one here, because this one is a true miniature, because they've got to be under 86 centimetres from the last bit of fur on the mane to the ground, whereas ponies, they measure them from the wither, which is up here. So right from there is where they measure them. They're used for, you know, under 5, you can ride them.
I was going to say, as a pet, in terms of maintenance, who would they be recommended for?
Yeah, look, they're actually two things. Yes. One is that for very small kids who want to ride horses, they're great, but they're predominantly also just kept as pets in people's suburban backyards. Wow. Now, I've got to say, this isn't something that you go into lightly, okay, because they can live up to 30 years. They eat about a quarter as much as a normal horse, so they can cost about $10 a week, but if you've got them stable, it can be $100 a week. These are a big... These are a big commitment.
That's me. That's me inviting.
And also, these guys, if they're in your suburban backyard, they'll eat anything. Okay, so the horse and the rat are the only two animals who can't vomit, right?
Oh,
now,
really? I didn't know that.
No, you learn a new thing every day.
Something you learn every day on this program.
The reason that's so important is that if they're in your backyard, they eat something, they can actually get colic and actually have all sorts of trouble.
Yes.
Their feet, they don't actually need shoes because most people just walk them on the streets, on the footpath, and they wear them down. So they're fine like that, so there's no problem about
just stunning. Any
them.
health problems being a miniature?
Look, as we mentioned earlier on, the jaw is a bit of an issue and the knee, but if you go to a registered breeder and the people who brought us in today with the Firefly farm, is you're going to get a good solid horse. Okay, but remember, a couple of things to remember, big things. First of all, do you really want a miniature horse? We've just got them today because we're talking about the Oaks, because they live to 30 years.
Oh, wow.
So this isn't just something you do on a whim, and
Yeah.
And the other thing is, join the society. Okay, because you've got like-minded people, they're going to disseminate information, and last of all, make sure you feed them well and look after them like a horse. They're not a big dog.
And aren't they beautiful
Look
kids?
at you.
Yes.
You are beautiful.
You get much love out of these gorgeous creatures, don't you?
Yes. They're gorgeous.
Wonderful. Hey, because the President-elect Obama, I loved it yesterday when he stood at his speech and his two little girls, who obviously want mummy and daddy to buy them a puppy.
Malia,
yeah, like every other parent. This is what President-elect Obama said yesterday.
Sasha and Malia, I love you both more than you can imagine. And you have earned the new puppy that's coming with us to the White House.
Well, we're going to have a first dog in the White House.
Do you know some of the presidents have had hippos? Coolidge had a hippo. Bears, lions, alligators. Not that I recommend that for the Obama family. I actually did a bit of a research to find out what would be the ideal pet for them in the White House. And what is recommended on Select a Pet would be a whippet, which I think would be a perfect pet running around the White House.
Yep.
There's another one called the Boston Terrier. Okay, another short-coated dog. And of course, the perfect dog of that size for young girls, the King Charles Cavalier Spaniel, another perfect dog running around the White House. I also understand and read this morning that they are going to go to rescue dogs, which I think is just a wonderful... Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And we're big promoters, of course, of the RSPCA and Doggy Rescue.
I love some of the presents. You mentioned hippo. There are some others in here. Yes, darling.
Alligator?
An alligator. Who had an alligator? I'm going to get to this. This is just Calvin Coolidge did have the hippo.
John Quincy Adams had the alligator.
An elephant. James Buchanan.
And Roosevelt, of course, he had a zebra. As you do.
As you do in your rose garden. They'd eat the rose garden, I reckon.
He'd be very popular.
Listen, thank you very much. I just adore these gorgeous little babies here, and we haven't had these with us before, and thank you very much for the trouble you've been to this morning and bringing them in. As always, Dr. Ark, thank you.
Thank you, Kerri-Anne.
You'll join us a little later?
Absolutely.
Yes, I do like my high heels too, darling.
And they're trying to eat the artificial grass. It's probably the first green grass they've seen for a while.
Indeed. OK, we've got a lot more coming up on the